A traveling carnival has receipts of $4,275 one day. Twice as much was made on concessions as on the rides. How much did the concessions bring in, and how much did the rides bring in? We will solve this using the 5-step problem-solving process. And the first thing we note is that we have two quantities we're looking for, the amount on the concessions and the amount brought in by the rides. So we'll use two variables. We'll let C represent the receipts from concessions. And notice I'm using a C to remind me that it's concessions. And we'll let R represent the receipts from the rides. And it's important to write down what these stand for because at the end we're going to have to know what C is and what R represents. Step 2 is to translate. We have two statements. We had the statement that the receipts from concessions plus receipts from the rides is $4,275. That translates now to C plus R equals $4,275. The second sentence we learned in the second statement that we learned from the problem was that the receipts from the concessions was 2 times the receipts from the rides. Again, translating, we have C was is equals 2 times the receipts from the rides is R. So we have a system of two equations and we can solve that system. We have C plus R equals 4,275 and C equals 2R. So we'll use substitution since C is written in terms of R here. C equals 2R. I will substitute 2R for C in my first equation. That gives me 2R plus R equals 4,275, or 3R equals 4,275. Dividing both sides by 3, I get R equals 1,425. Having solved for R, I now need to solve for C, but I know from the second equation that C is 2 times R. So C would be 2 times 1,425, or C would be 2,850. Now, if we need to, we can look back at our familiarized step and recall that C stands for the amount of concessions and R for the receipts from the rides. So what I'm checking is the amount brought in from concessions $2,850, is the amount brought in from the rides $1,425. Well, let's first check total receipts. We add the two together, 2,850 plus 1,425 equals, and we do the addition, we get 4,275, and that does correspond to what we were told in the problem. The other thing we were told was that the concessions brought in twice as much as the rides. If we multiply 2 times 1,425, we get 2,850, which is the amount brought in from the concessions. So that statement also checks. Since these two values fulfill all the requirements of the problem, we state that the concessions brought in $2,850 and the rides brought in $1,425.